Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining another Monday Mindset. I'm so glad to have you here today. So today we're talking about a topic that actually impacted me the other day after filming one of my videos that was very emotional for me. But with that being said, I thought what better way to address it on here, because it's not something I see often in my feeds on all my social platforms. So I wanted to address it. And that is having an emotional hangover. Not like your typical hangover, it's very different, but being able to address it and what is it, why does it happen, some signs to look for, as well as what you can do. But before we do that, let's get into this week's quote. Your emotions make you human. Even the unpleasant ones have a purpose. Don't lock them away. If you ignore them, they just get louder and angrier. And that's by Saba Tair. And I really appreciated this quote because it just goes again back to being human. We have a range of emotions, sometimes multiple emotions at the same time. But if we are suppressing them, so putting them in a lockbox up on the shelf, not looking at them, that is going to take hold of other things. It can leak into other things as well, where we don't mean it to. So it's really important that when we are feeling something, we acknowledge it and move past it. Because when we get stuck there, that's when we obviously need professional help, which I'm all for with therapy, but being able to work through it and understand where those feelings are coming from so you can address them and feel better from the inside out. So I just really appreciated this quote. But what is an emotional hangover? Well, it's when you still have emotions, usually negative, from an event beyond the time it occurred. So it's lingering still. Our brains process information to create and hold onto memories. So therefore, it's learning how to recognize when you're in that space of having an emotional hangover, what that can do. You're emotionally hungover from it. So why does it happen? It happens after a traumatic or serious event, an argument, there's a difficult day in business that happens, breakup of a relationship, whether it's romantic, a friendship, a business partnership, a long day of socializing, especially if you're more introverted and your energy gets drained. I call them like energy vampires sometimes. Negative people, toxic environments, that all plays a significant role of why this can happen and feeling this way. So what actually occurs? Well, let's find out. So some of the signs, you have an increased anger, frustration, aggravation. You start to self-isolate. There's irrational guilt. There's feeling extremely self-critical. Your fuse gets shorter, so more things are irritating you. Your body's fatigue and muscle tension starts to build. Self-blame increases, constantly looking at the faults of yourself, and sadness as well. And so this can occur when you are having those arguments. Maybe that's a factor of what's happened for you. I know there are some individuals that are no longer in my circle, but that would call me, and I talked about this before, and be on the phone for hours, and I felt drained. But one thing you can start to look for too, who is somebody like you're talking to maybe on the phone, and after you get off, you feel like a completely different person, and not in a good way. Like, start checking, how do you feel around certain people, certain environments? Because negative people, even if they're not trying to be negative, that can come across as negative towards you, just your energy, or a toxic environment that you're in that you might need to remove yourself from or limit your time around. And that's going to be significant of how you're feeling too. So what can you do? Well, identify you're emotionally activated and triggered. So there's a lot of different emotions that happen, but put a name to them. What is the emotion you're feeling? There's a feelings wheel that has, you can Google it, and there's a bunch of different emotions, but it has like the basic emotions, and then it dives deeper into like what's the underlying meaning of those emotions. I used to use it all the time in therapy for people who weren't able to identify their emotions. And I learned about it because I wasn't able to originally identify my emotions, because they're very mixed and all over the place sometimes. But when we're able to identify what we're feeling, then we can understand where it's coming from too. And vice versa. It all goes in together, at least in my opinion. But where are the feelings coming from? Being able to understand those as well, the depth of them. Is it because you were angry? Well, maybe there was disappointment under that, and you were really looking forward to something, and sadness came into play. So there can be a mix of things, especially if it's an argument with somebody you really care about too. And like I was mentioning before, just a phone call with a family or friends, and you notice you're activated or triggered by something they've said, or it starts to provoke an emotion that maybe is triggered from something else or from that person in particular. So the next step is speak with a professional. That's one of the main things, can really help identify and really getting those unbiased questions as well, so you can identify it more clearly for yourself too, so you can move forward. And the other things you can do outside of just identifying your feelings, get some fresh air, be in nature. I talk about it all the time because it's something I firmly believe in, but getting fresh air can really help. Journaling, listen to your favorite music, watch a favorite show. Being able to get, like, especially if you're feeling sad and upset, like watching something funny or any like YouTube videos that you like, take a nap. Being able to reset, rest your mind and body. Talk to a good friend, somebody who always uplifts you. One of my best friends, I could be in the worst mood. 5 minutes in the call, I am laughing hysterical. And that is because that's our friendship, and she always just brings out the best in me. But finding those people too. Having a good, healthy lifestyle, so eating well, those foods that really make you feel good versus, oh, this tastes good. It's both, and really understanding that. I know I've learned a lot of just how my energy is impacted on the foods I eat. So I'm very aware of that, but that could really be impacting your mood as well. And reading something that's inspirational or motivational, even if it's on like a blog or a book or an article, but things that are really positive and uplifting can shift that mood too. Even like you're acknowledging how you're feeling, don't disregard it, but being able to get out of that state. Meditate, talk about all the time, and get in touch with your creativity. Dance, draw, paint, cook, write, whatever that is for you. Ceramics, like pottery classes, things that are going to light you up in a different way that you might have never knew before. So those are just some of the things to do to get over an emotional hangover. I hope that was helpful. I hope it brought something new into the mix that you might have not known about before, or maybe you knew but couldn't identify it. I hope this was helpful, and I will see you on the next video. Have a great rest of your day.